Hello and welcome to everybody. Welcome to the Europass channel. We are here today to celebrate the Erasmus Days. I can't actually read the chat on Facebook, but please say hello to all. I say hello to all the participants there. Thank you very much for joining us. I wonder which country are you coming from, so you can just reply to us and write that in the chat. I wonder also whether you had other events. You are celebrating the Erasmus Days in some ways in your country, in your institution. So I really welcome you and encourage you to describe what you're doing to celebrate these days. Erasmus Days is kind of 3 days of celebrations for the Erasmus Plus program that this year is starting with the new edition from 2021 to 2027. So it's a very particular date. We are really closing a big chapter of the last 7 years, but we are opening a new edition and 7 years to come with many novelties there. For doing that, so we are all be a part of this great community that we're really enjoying. And at Europass, we decided to promote the Erasmus Plus program in these days by presenting a particular project we are running at the moment with Erasmus Plus KA2 funding. So this is the project Guidelines for Training, a project that we developed with our partners from Europass in Berlin, Dublin, Bridge, that is an association that is working in Cluj-Napoca in Romania, and Europass Academy of Creativity from Barcelona. So this is just a short schedule for the plan today. We will just meet with the director of the different schools, and we will talk about the project and what is to come in the future for the project Guidelines for Trainers. I see we have already our first guest that is appearing in the webcam, so I really welcome him. He's Mark, right from Cluj-Napoca. Hello, Mark.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, Mark?
Very well. This week's been quite busy, but it's been very productive as well. And going back with some fresh ideas, it's going to be good to get everything across to the team.
Great. Just have to say that we are here together. Many of us are here in Florence because we were really having one of the last meetings for the project Guidelines for Training. And so this meeting was here in Florence. So we are streaming from different locations in the city, but also partially from other cities in Europe. So some of us will connect to us from different countries. So Mark, would you like to tell our audience how we have met in the past, how we start collaborating together?
Yes, well, we've actually been working with Europass for a few years now, quite a few years now. We started with a project called Move It, which was looking at using movie making as a teaching method, and that was very successful and still continues to be very popular, particularly amongst our students. And other projects along the way as well, which have, further improved our operations as well as the experience of our learners as well. So we're, again, very excited to be involved in this project too. It's always a step forward in these international training events.
I really do hope so. I would like to tell our audience what are the goals of the project. What is the gist? What are we trying to produce?
Yeah, well, we all know that mobility has always been, a big priority of the European Union, and the opportunity to do training events in different countries is a huge advantage in a great many ways. However, course quality has always remained inconsistent, and in order to remedy this and improve both the efficiency and the impact of mobility events, it was brought to our attention through experience that it was vital to have well prepared host institutions and invest strongly in the professional profile of the trainers themselves. This, I think, led to the current partnership in this project to form based on those experiences, but also based on, you know, the different methods we'd approach to try and remedy them for ourselves, share those best practices, put them all together, and come up with this opportunity to create the guideline document that we've been working on this week, and well, and the many months leading up to this week. But no, I think the important thing was to find you know, common ground in what we were doing, and put it all together to form a unity amongst trainers offering international training courses across Europe.
Okay, yes. So the goal is both, or even to share our best practices, but together then to really set a tool to improve the quality of Erasmus Plus courses in general, courses for teacher training across Europe. So what would you like to tell us something more about the location in Cluj instead? Something that we visited in August for the interim meeting of the project.
Yes, of course. Well, Cluj-Napoca is probably, on my last observations, was the second largest city in Romania. It's the capital of Transylvania. I'm sure everyone's heard of Transylvania in one way or another. It does exist. We're based in the northwest of Romania, right in the middle of the Carpathian Mountains. And you know, we've got population, bless you. We have a population of around 500,000 residents, and which usually jumps up to around 700,000 when the students are there. So when we have the next meeting there, it should be pretty full again. Bridge Language Study House, the organisation that we're representing, has been celebrating 20 years next year. So we're very excited about, you know, 2022 coming around and trying to make that, you know, a good opportunity to show the formative side of what we've been working on for the last 2 decades. And this project gives us, you know, a real opportunity to highlight some of the things that we've learned both from other organizations and the things that we've sort of, you know, put a hand in developing ourselves to try and bring, you know, some form of standard unity, something to measure an element of quality for the people that take part in the courses.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm really looking forward to go back to Cluj, which is the location for the final meeting of the project. And it's a very nice city, and I was very surprised by it, by the beauty of the location. The nature around it is astonishing. And also there are very interesting things to do and visit, like the Tuzla mine, the salt mine you can explore in the depth of the ground. So it's really a very interesting area to explore for European travelers, I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, Mark, I thank you very much for you to be here with us. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in Cluj in some months, and I think we can go towards to meet our next speaker. So, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Take care and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
And so we are really thanking Mark from Bridge. And now it's the time to give the word to our next guest in today's very, very busy schedule for this celebration of the Erasmus Days. So we have now an Italian couple who's not living anymore in Italy because they moved to another city. Okay, so maybe it's time to give them the word and let them explain us who they are and where they are coming from. I see them on the camera. Hello.
Hi, hello.
Marta. How are you?
Great. How are you doing, Marco?
Fine, very well. Thank you very much. It's great to be here. It's great to have. I see really the end of this project, but it was very great to see you all guys during these days and to discuss the latest aspects of the project that we are really finalizing. So, where do you live actually? Normally
In Barcelona.
in Barcelona. So, okay.
Sunny Barcelona.
Alex and Marta, they are our partners from Europass Academy of Creativity in Barcelona. They are offering many courses there on teacher training, so on the well-being of the teacher, and on many aspects connected to the use of digital tools, innovation technologies that teachers can implement in the classroom. What do you want to tell us what was the experience you had with the Guidelines for Training project? We had a very nice meeting together in April, right?
Yes. We've been working together for 3 days in Barcelona with the international training course for Guideline for Training, and we have a great experience with all our partners from Berlin, Dublin, Florence, Cluj-Napoca in Romania, and basically one of the main topics that we developed during these 3 days was organizing a better environment for the classroom for the international training course, but also we're working as well on dealing with different cultures as well, which is very important. I mean, the experience to enrich our life, to approach and embrace different cultures is really a value today. So it's very important focus as well, not only on developing skills, which are very important, but also the cultural exchange program, which make us unique in Europe, unite, and diverse in our culture, but unite.
Yeah. And actually, we had a lot of fun in Barcelona, first of all, I would say, because it's, you always deliver courses to other teachers, but then like delivering experiences with your colleagues, that was definitely also something that enriched us as trainers as well. And also in that case, we had trainers from different countries with different experiences as well. So a common trait that they have with the usual users, clients that we have is that they come to Barcelona and they really focus on the city and what the city offers, but we always try to as well connect different people from different countries to build a little community for that week, an international community during the week. So what they what we did together was reflecting on the fact that we are all concentrating on what Barcelona or the host city always offer, while it's always important to exchange practices and ideas and also rituals or traditions that we have in our own countries, because it's always challenging to give international training courses to teachers that are already so diverse in terms of way of being, lifestyle, values, expectations, and also sometimes language level. So the trainer in general really has to be very flexible and adapt to the variety of language and expectations and lifestyles as well. They have, for example, everybody coming to Barcelona or Spain always think about siesta. We want to make siesta in Barcelona, or life is very easygoing, right? And we go very slow. Well, and always we say, well, it depends, because in Barcelona, actually, everybody works a lot, So there are also these kind of false myths about Barcelona. So it's really interesting to leverage, all these different approaches that they have to the Erasmus mobility. It may occur that some classes are with the same language level, more or less, and with people coming from similar countries, while there are some people that are very diverse in languages or experiences. So somebody which is already experienced in Erasmus Plus, and then maybe somebody which is completely novel to Erasmus Plus, never traveled alone without a family, with colleagues, or maybe totally alone, that may feel scared, especially in a big, vibrant city as Barcelona, where you have a lot of inputs and when you have a lot of offers to explore. So it was really interesting week to explore our city with our colleagues. And also to reflect on our guidelines. Alex, maybe you want to add something about that? I'm not sure.
Yes, also, I mean, we apply different approaches as well in our training event in Barcelona. So we make projects that are useful, boundaryless, without border, without limits, experiment, and also because we are specialized in creativity, value creative activities. So very important to a new mindset that teachers today need to approach the new challenges for the 21st century.
Yes, and I remember that the training was really, really very engaging. And I also remember the beauties of the city and the places we visited together. So it was very nice walks in the afternoon in the Ramblas, but also in other parts and neighborhoods of the city.
Yeah.
So we focus mostly on the coexistence of many cultures together in international training courses. It's something that makes them really very specific, but also so much entertaining and interesting to us as a live experience, right?
Definitely, yes.
Life experience. Yeah, sometimes we call them like training courses, but they are life experiences.
We use all the possible coexistence, connection, co-working, cooperative, coordination,
and many
and co-create as well. Yes.
So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you again in Barcelona.
Yes.
And the time is very fast, as we have only 30 minutes or a bit more for this streaming. So I really thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Marco. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Goodbye,
everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
And so it's since the time is really short for us today, we wanted to have nevertheless to give you the chance to know about all our partners in this project. So we arranged for many different streaming and connections with people from different places. So our next guest is Robert Schambor from Teacher Academy Ireland. I see him there, so I'll just...
Hello.
Hello, Robert. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm
Thank you for being with us today.
Say again?
Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, yes. Thanks. My pleasure, really.
Robert has been taking the last meeting with us from by staying online, so he has been a good interactive listener even in online streaming. Do you want to introduce the Teacher Academy Ireland to our audience, to our viewers?
Yeah, yes, of course. So we are actually here in a new venue since July. So before that, of course, we were only active online, but now we have a new venue here in next to the canal, next to Haddington Road, and in Dublin 4. And it's actually a former primary school where there were students in until 2019. And it's a great building, lots of big classrooms, lots of natural light as well. So we're very happy about that. We were discussing at one of our project meetings about how the perfect venue should look like. And I think we're coming pretty close. Of course, I was also very happy when I was able to host you for our last project meeting here in Dublin. and I could get a bit more advice on what to do to optimize things even more. So that was very helpful. And I think all that advice will also be in our guideline text.
So the guidelines were already effective a bit before they were even published or drafted, right?
Oh, certainly. We got through all the project meeting and staff training events. We got a lot of ideas, and because we have a lot of new trainers here, it was it was good to essentially make a new beginning and implement all these ideas straight away. So that worked pretty well. We so one thing I'm also looking after the evaluation part as part of this project, and one thing we developed or further developed was a learning journal, and I think learning journals are a great way of, on the one hand, helping participants to retain what they learned during the course, because they have a bit of time to reflect on things and to see how, and the learning journal helps them to reflect and also to connect what they've learned with what they learned previously, and also what they can do with it in future. And so that's great for the participants. They can afterwards take home the learning journal and essentially have this as a physical, as a tangible device that they can use to remember the training course. We always do it on paper, not electronically, just to make it this more physical, this more tangible. And at the same time, it's great for the trainer because they can see what participants have learned, what their emphasis is on, and can also make sure then that things go smoothly. And for the trainer, it's essentially a direct feedback. And so it's good for both the participant and the trainer to have this evaluation tool. Yeah, and so all of our trainers are now using these learning journals and are very happy with that.
Yes, actually, I also started introducing it in my courses after these meetings we had together, and I found it a very good tool to make people reflect on their learning directly after it took place. So it really helps to fixate, to assess among the varieties of things you have been exposed to during a lesson or a day of training, to identify the things that have been more important to you and to fix them in your memory. So it's a very valuable tool, I would say. And do you have any other kind of subject or topic you identified in these trainings, even in the last training in Florence? You think it's particularly relevant for international training courses?
Yeah, so one thing, of course, that we were looking into was, because this is what we're working on as a guideline for international training courses, and of course, there's lots of advice that is important for all sorts of training courses, and so we had to think about, okay, what is actually important for international training courses, and what's specific for them. And so one thing we realized is that international training courses, they help to essentially get people in touch with others from other countries, so develop this international experience. And of course, because most of our courses are running through the Erasmus Plus program, it's also about developing the European spirit and the sense of being a European citizen. And so this is one thing where we said, okay, this is actually something we should check. Do our participants actually aware of this? Is this actually a conscious in their minds that this may help them in developing their European identity? So we said now we're actually going to add that to our feedback surveys to ask them, do these training courses help you to foster your European identity, and also to see, do you think you will stay in touch with the other participants from the other countries, and in this way strengthen connections with others. And another aspect we were trying to focus more on is the amount of culture and history that they take away from the place where they're traveling to do their training, and to see should we had a bit more of that during classes, even if the classes are about other topics like ICT or creativity. We could still see that we add a bit more information, and so we're trying to evaluate this as well by adding more questions about this.
Yes, thank you. And it's true, we are really trying to, these meetings were a really good occasion for us to identify factors that are very relevant for international training courses, but that we might leave aside if we focus just on the training and not on the international aspect of the courses. So we really do hope that these guidelines will be a way for improving the quality, but also widening the range of subjects and topics and the experiences that we are touching in our courses. Thank you very much, Robert, for being with us. I already see that we have Ada and Francesco. They are waiting to have their awards. So I thank you again.
Thank you, Marco. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Robert. And instead, I move directly to connect instead with Ada and Francesco, who are joining us from Florence, but actually they are representing. Would you like to introduce?
Berlin. Yeah. Hi, hello, Marco. Thanks for hosting us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure for us to give this streaming. So,
thank you. Yeah, you're right. We are coming from Berlin, and just do you want to say something about our beautiful city?
Oh yes, so of course. So Berlin is, I think, a really good location for every activity. So you would like to do because it's very vibrant city. So there is a lot of green areas, museums, and a really nightlife. A lot of activities to do. It's a huge city. It's also a true European city, I would like to say, because it's multicultural, yes, from one side, but on the other side, it's like also the economical capital. It's becoming the economical capital of Europe, and a lot of startups and interesting activities are moving there. So it's really interesting as location. So from every point of view, I would say, and also on the side of education. It's a really important city because there are many important institutions, not only the university, but also many non-formal educational center, many vet providers, and so many possibilities to work, to make apprentice, and so trainings. It's really, really interesting also from the educational point of view, I would say. And not only, because it's also a really good city if you want to implement some activities with European projects, because there are also a lot of possibility of connection with international institutions, with European institutions, and this is also one reason why we moved there, and we are going to offer trainings in Berlin, for example.
But you know all of that since you have been together with our partners in Berlin in June. So you know how vibrant, how interesting Berlin could be.
Yes, definitely. I remember about that. So I must say that we were very lucky to have the chance to travel so much for this project this year, in a year where traveling limitations have been really limiting us from going around. So I really felt much lucky in having the chance to visit you in Berlin. But coming back to the subject of our guidelines, so the kind of idea of finding procedures, content, ideas that are really relevant and that should act as a principle for the activities of all providers of international training courses. What are the kind of principles, ideas, memories that you are saving from our meetings? What are the things that you would like to put an accent on and share with our audience?
Well, actually, we started talking about the quality that each city should have to host international training courses. And we have been discussing that, and then we have been talking about the quality of each venue. But I think the most interesting topic was about the useful information we should provide participants with before the course. And we were discussing the welcome letter, because a lot of participants are, nervous about the international training course. Maybe it's the first time, maybe it's been a while since they were last time abroad, since now with the pandemic, And we discussed about what should we include in the welcome letter, what kind of information should we provide. So, about the schedule, the learning objectives of the course, but also about the timetable. We should provide information about the cultural activities. Usually in Berlin, we offer a very nice walking tour through the city center, talking about the history of Berlin, East and West Berlin, very nice. And on Saturday, we offer a tour to Potsdam. So we include also this kind of information, but in any whole city, they would include different ones, but still something about that. And also, what I personally do is that I share some information about the other participants. I say how many participants are going to be there and where they're coming from. So that each one could get an idea and say, okay, it's going to be an interesting week. I'm going to meet participants from these countries. So.
Yes, the welcome letter is always a challenge, right? Because we don't want to overload our participants with too much information. At the same time, participants are really looking for some piece of information that they're waiting for.
Yeah, they're so eager, yeah. True.
So the welcome letter is a moment of touch, first touch with the participants is very important, right? It's a piece of communication that has a lot of value for us.
And then one moment I really liked during our training in Berlin was the project-based learning about what makes a good trainer.
Would like to
You remember?
More.
Yeah. So you
I
remember?
I just wonder whether you can expand on this for our listeners.
Of course, yeah. So we were working in groups, and each group should talk about what makes a good trainer. And I found amazing how each group could find different skills a trainer should have. But most of the groups were the same opinion. So they were saying that soft skills matter most than hard skills. So we were talking about time management, adaptability, but also about empathy. So these are the skills that a good trainer should have, and that's what makes a good trainer. So it's been really inspiring. And I think each of us, each trainer there would have been asking, okay, am I really this kind of trainer? And how can I improve myself? So it has been really inspiring. And I think all the activities had this in common, were like sharing experiences, sharing best practices, and really improving each of us.
Yes, I think you used the right word, it is inspiration, right? So by putting together standards, setting up even high quality standards for all of us, these guidelines are acting as a tool for inspiring us to make better courses, work better, provide a more qualitative educational tool for all the people who are coming and visiting our cities and venues, right? Mm-hmm. I would like to give an anticipation of the 4 pillars of being a teacher trainer that we identified in Berlin, but maybe we can refer our audience to reading the guidelines once they will be out in January 2022, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I think that we can go to the ending of this this streaming, so you can stay with us until the end. I would really like to thank all the people who connected just for 5 minutes or for the whole streaming just to hear the news about this exciting new project for us. The project will be over in March 2022, but there are still many things to do. So right now we are finalizing the draft of the guidelines. We are planning to make some pilot testing of them in November and December 2021. So we will have some internal reading of these guidelines. The manuscript seems to be quite thick at the moment, about 80 pages of high quality content, we hope. And so we will be assessing the content internally in the next 2 months, and then we will finalize the manuscript, and we will be ready to share it online to our communication channels. We will still plan some dissemination event in March 2022. So if you're interested in knowing about the guidelines, you can definitely get in contact with us, because we are organizing conferences in all the locations and countries where we are participating in the project. So there will be an international conference in Barcelona, other national conferences in Ireland, Romania, Germany, and Italy. So if you are a teacher trainer and you want to know more about this, you should definitely get in contact with our secretary office in these countries. And at the same time we are finishing the project, we are also looking forward for the futures, and already setting up the basis for the next collaborations and next projects within the KA2 Erasmus Plus fundings. Right? So we had some nice discussion about this event this morning in Florence, as Ada and Francesco can say. So these are the kind of news I can conclude with from Florence at present. I really thank you all again very much for staying with us this afternoon. I recommend you to take part in the other many possibilities of events that are offered within the Erasmus days. And as always, I would say goodbye and see you in Europe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.